No, it still looks super bright. All right, well, we are hopefully live. With any luck.
1 second.
With any luck, we are live.
I'll set you if you're connected. Hello, people.
So possibly,
Oh,
you can hear
Enzo.
us.
No, Enzo.
We'll see. We'll have people log on, see where we're at.
They all abandoned us. Damn, you can't even like
Sound.
see.
Sound, yes, sound. Good
Oh,
sound, yay sound.
That's broken now.
That's yay sound. All right.
It's broken.
That's okay. Good, perfect.
Now
perfect.
I can't even see our
Had to
faces.
restart. Yes, so we are just the ghosts of Macy and
I'm
Jeremy
trying
Past.
to think like,
So you can move back now. We can talk out there for a second. No. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. I thought you were putting up the camera. Go ahead, just move back just a little bit.
Yeah, you can
Or
move
we
back
can move
just a
back.
little
No, that doesn't work.
no, she has to
I'll
go back.
There we are.
are.
There we are.
There's kind of normal.
There's some less exposure.
You can hear us. No more sign language.
Yes, so we were going to do sign language, hold here, trot this, trot a circle,
Turn.
stop, pivot,
I gotta.
back.
That's so loud.
That was going to be, I'm still super white.
It's just because I need to be in there. See.
There it is.
There we are.
You're bringing my light down.
Thank goodness.
You gotta I'm trying to let my light shine. You are bringing me down.
You need to calm down. Thank goodness, because I was starting to panic with the sign language and answers. It would have been like, da, da, da,
Yeah. Yes.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Yay!
Very good.
And you can compare yourself for the
That is a good question, Raquel. I have no idea. Interpretive showmanship. I know, right?
It would have
That'd
been.
been a blast.
We could have been like, what's that game called?
Charades.
Charades, yeah.
Yes.
You guys could have been in the chat
Yes.
guessing what he was doing.
Trying to figure it out.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, we're super white. Like,
We are very exposed.
Wait, back up a little more. I think we just gotta stand closer.
Yeah, no, it's not closer. It's just the lighting. The lighting today.
He's gonna pull the garage door
Yeah.
down.
Oh, yeah, on my head.
It is the glare off my hat.
Yes,
Jeremy, you can just
it
be
is.
in it today.
Nope, it's
again.
not because I just disappeared.
You got phantom.
Yeah, I entirely disappeared.
Okay, just
There we
It's
go.
these pearly white teeth.
There you go.
That's what it
bud.
is.
That helps.
I gotta put them away. Yeah, so if you missed it, I'm Jeremy.
I'm Macy.
This is
This
Enzo.
is Enzo. You guys probably should, if you guys been watching on Patreon.
From the beginning.
From the beginning.
Like he was one of our first horses that we did colt breaking with.
You guys need a tan. Tell me about it.
He was one of the first horses that we did colt breaking with.
Jeremy, blinded by light.
Oh, yeah. That's it right
You
there.
can't let me go. I
don't know the You got it down.
You do. That's good.
That was really good.
Good
We were on
timing.
good timing.
That's on
it's
TikTok.
about dancing, right?
Yeah.
He's always
Yes,
been brown.
This is a brown horse.
He's always been. Did you just tell them this is a brown horse? This is a brown horse today. We're going to feature a brown horse. This horse is brown.
Well, she said, when
That's
did
good.
Enzo get brown? He's brown.
Enzo thinks that you're nuts. We are nuts.
This is
We are a little
Enzo.
nuts. So if you guys remember Enzo from back in the
he's
day,
scared. Ow.
this is. What do you put on those fingers that every horse eats them?
They're strawberries.
You got carrot fingers or what? So if you remember him, we featured him a long time ago.
Long time ago.
We broke him out. We've done lead changes with him now, so he's one of the first horses we did the lead change video with. Now we've been doing some showmanship with him for a little while here, not very long.
He's not black.
No.
He said, he's always looked black, you turkeys. We've
So,
been
yeah.
drinking. Jeremy,
We've been
have you
drinking.
been drinking?
Well, we are in
I just
quarantine.
made him stare into the sunlight to check his eyeballs.
Yes, they're not dilated.
He's okay.
But yeah, so the horse that we're gonna be doing showmanship with today is Mr. Enzo. We're gonna be demonstrating some showmanship. He's gonna be good at it when he figures this piece out. This one.
Look at, he's like, don't touch
He's like,
me.
don't touch me. You can't touch me.
Don't touch
You
me.
can't touch me. So he's gonna have to figure that head and neck out, right? His brain, right between his ears.
Right between his ears.
Because this is a good example of a horse that we're not going to teach showmanship when he's 2, right? Or when he's 3. He simply does not have the patience to do that.
No.
Right? And you'll see how busy he is here standing next to me, that he simply has a hard time with the patience of, I should just mind my own business over there.
Yeah,
right?
it's not
And he's
like
just staying in his
Peanut,
bubble.
where Peanut just kind of stays in her bubble. He's just kind of always been like, let me touch.
I just gotta be there. I gotta be annoying. Yep. So he's got a little bit of maturing to do. So this class will be much easier for him when he finds that maturity.
Yeah, for sure.
We're not going to cram that into him. We're not going to force him to be mature because that's his personality through everything. And nothing that I'm going to do is going to force him to be mature.
Right.
So what we're going to have to do is make sure that we give him room to have his personality. while at the same time not being super naughty, right? Like he's trying to paw.
Right.
Okay. So our showmanship with him is going to have to be fast. It's going to have to be hard. We're going to have to do things, keep moving. Otherwise, he's going to get bored, and then he's going to get in trouble simply because he's making mistakes because he's bored.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
So a lot of you guys that take your horses and you do a lot of stuff with them as babies, if I get after him a lot, he's going to get mad at me. He's not going to like me. He's going to hate this class. Right. So this is a horse that if you teach him showmanship too much, too fast, too soon, he's going to end up pin-eared and bitey. Right. He's going to bite the chains and bite me a lot. Right.
Sorry guys, we're still back to work today. I'll catch up tonight.
Awesome. Very
Have
good.
a good day at work.
Yes. So then what we're going to have here is we're going to have a horse that hopefully is a little bit better than Peanut, right? He's going to be somewhere between where Charlie was and where Peanut was.
Yep.
All right, so more of the middle stages of showmanship. We're going to work on trying to tighten the screws down a little bit.
Yep.
All right? And with that being said, we want to create a horse that we can increase the pressure gradually, right? So if we have a horse that we overdo it on, right? He's going to get overdone.
He's mad.
He is mad. He has to stand here. So he's going to get overdone and super reactive, and then we have a horse that's just getting in trouble because he's overreacting, right? Which is very similar to where I had my horse from yesterday, right? If you guys watched Dubs, we did the lead change video with Dubs. And with him, don't bite me. Don't bite me.
So
he just took a swipe at me. So
naughty.
we did the lead change, or the draw rein video with Dubs yesterday. I did not like the horse I had today at all.
No.
All right, so that's a good example of a horse. Like we did some horsemanship stuff with him. We did some hard pushing with him. We went fast, and we didn't reward him much. So today I got him out, and to me, he was a little bit on edge.
Right.
All right, so we're trying to build up a horse that we can ride hard like that. That horse is not mentally ready to ride hard like that. Right? He's not mentally in the game enough. I'm hoping we can kind of dull this up.
So that's why I figured if we get a little closer.
Yeah, so he's not mentally ready to be pushed that hard. Right? So we have to keep that in mind, our horse's mental state, because I did not like the horse I had today at all. He was jumpy off my feet. He was rushy through the maneuvers. So riding him hard outside he's not ready for that. So I have to keep that in mind when I ride that horse, that, like, even if I were to go to a show, that's how we want to do our horsemanship pattern, but we can't practice that way with that horse yet.
No.
Right? So you got to keep that in mind up here, that you want to make your horse manageable all the time. If you have a horse that gets a little bit nervous, then you're not going to be able to push him really hard.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
So this horse doesn't necessarily get nervous, but he gets in trouble, right, for his own mind, his own mental state. So he gets in trouble for that. So he's going to get kind of edgy on me, right? I fully expect this horse to get overdone. I fully expect him to get edgy on me. It's going to be part of what makes him really cool in the showmanship when he's done.
Yeah.
But the hardest part for him is going to be, how do we practice and get him broke in the
just
showmanship?
getting him to that point.
Get him broke in the showmanship and still maintain his mind, right? So how do you correct the horse that you're going from a trot to a stop? Does not stop straight, always push it to the inside. So Kristen, I don't recognize your name, so I feel like you're new. We've done quite a few videos on that. We'll probably address it today because my horse is going to do the same thing.
Yeah, he's going to kind of do that.
Yep, so stay tuned.
Off
top, you answer later when you ride a horse snaffle. They'll say mouthpiece. Yeah, just broken mouthpiece. Medium twist usually. Same with my boy, he's very good at showmanship, but his clown grabs a chain. Yeah. And Natasha, that's going to be with this horse. That'll probably last through his whole life.
And he kind of gets a little like, woo!
Yep, he's going to get a little squirrely. He gets a little bit excited. So we can work through that today. Hopefully we'll see him make all those mistakes. That's why I didn't want to take like my super broke horse, because honestly, once they're really broke, there's not much to see.
Yeah, it's just kind of like drilling it hard. And
So what I'm going to do for you guys, instead of just bring a broke horse out here and run him through a pattern, right? There's not much value in that. But what I can do and what I hope to do is get my clients out here and have them run through some patterns and have me coach them so we find some of their mistakes.
Yeah, we're thinking Dub's owner Hannah and Diana are going to come out this weekend, or maybe Holly, and we can do like beginner showmanship with the client, and then advanced showmanship with her and Diana.
And we can kind of figure out, like, you guys can watch me school one of my clients through showmanship and how we get them moving, right?
I would do it for you guys, but I don't
Macy's not going to.
So I'm like, Hannah?
She's not going to.
You want to go do a showmanship lesson?
Yep, so I can have you guys work through that. And then tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, tomorrow we're going to be live on the couch.
Tomorrow morning.
Yep.
I have submitted my patterns for the Show Your Heart Out horse show, and I've got to submit my patterns for the virtual all-breed horse show, I think, tomorrow, too.
Yep.
So I'm going to go over those patterns.
Yeah, we're going to break them down and, like, go over them tomorrow.
So
but
if you guys...
we're going to do it in the morning, so we're going to have our coffee and go over the patterns and all that stuff.
If you guys have seen the Show Your Heart Out series on Facebook, I'm judging that, I think, next week. It starts Thursday, I think. So the patterns get released tomorrow. I'm going to go over the patterns, at least the showmanship and probably the ranch riding or... some of the horsemanship stuff, and go over what I want to see, right? Tricky spots in the pattern. Where'd he going, bud? No. So tricky spots in the pattern. what I want to see
Yeah.
and things to set up for and watch for in different patterns. Right?
Off topic, how would you slow down a lope on a horse that likes to buckley tie down draw reins?
Whoa, I would take him out of the tie down the draw reins. Odds are, if you're trying to slow down a horse and you're thinking in terms of tie downs and draw reins, you're not doing it correctly, right? You're trying to hold that horse back and shut that horse down, and we do the complete opposite. Going slow is a measure of balance and lift. Those are the two things I want you to focus on. Yep. So your question should be, how do I slow my horse down? It's not balanced. Well, we have tons of answers for that, right? But if we're thinking of slowing our horse down in terms of bucking and tie downs, we are nowhere near ready to think about going slow.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So we got to think of how do we create this horse that's willing and soft and supple first. Right. Once you have that, then they can go slow. Right.
My mare tries to leg behind me instead of stepping up with me. We'll do that. He likes to do that too. But real quick before we start, we are 18 people away on our Patreon page hitting 150. Yes. And when we hit 150, we're going to do Harris custom spurs with your name on them. Yep. And then we're going to have Team L section on the inside. So
we will be doing a giveaway for those.
Thank you guys for all that, but we're super, super close.
Yes,
so
we're only 18 away.
Exciting.
And I expect that we'll get a lot of people on May 1st, right? If you don't want to get charged twice, I believe Patreon still does this, you'll get charged twice if you sign up today. So make sure it's after the 1st that you sign up. I don't want you guys to get charged twice. It's kind of late towards the end of the month.
But, how do you want to do this? Want me to stand right here? Or?
No, you'll probably be able to move in. He's going to bite me. You'll probably be able to move in once we get going, right? Because then we'll have to worry about the lighting. Okay. But yeah, we'll try. So we'll try this. We'll try to hold the stream on. If we lose the stream, we'll try to keep you in the front here toward the door.
Yeah.
And then I'll just kind of work around and yell.
Perfect.
I'll just yell.
You just yell. I feel like every day he's like, let's go.
Yeah. Yes. He's ready.
Let's go.
All right.
Ready?
Let's start. Yeah.
Oh wait, let's wait. You guys.
Look at the vein popping out in his neck. Look. Before we even get started, look at this vein popping out. This is how tight and tense this horse already is that he has to just stand here and have patience.
That would actually be really cool.
That would be sweet. Yeah.
I mean, we could definitely try.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That'd be really fun.
That would be really fun.
Yeah, so it's going to be...
So can you guys just get Harris to make them with Team LSH on them? So we can just buy it instead of having to win a pair?
Yeah, that would be sweet.
Really cool. Okay, I'm just joining you guys. Hate to ask, but... It's here. I'll type it in.
It's our Patreon site. So we have done. I think there's like 108 videos. I think JoJo added them up. There's 108 videos on our Patreon site. So that's where the majority of our content is for you guys that are joining us that are new. We do videos on there for our subscriptions. There's a $10 a month service that gets you access to like half of the videos, and $25 a month service that gets you access to all of the videos, plus the ability to send in a lesson or send in a video and get a lesson every month. And that's worked out really well.
Take it like that?
Yep, that's perfect.
That's good?
Yep.
What show are you judging, Jeremy?
I'll be judging the Show Your Heart Out series and the all-breed virtual horse show. Yep. So both of those in the next week or so.
Yeah, so it would be really cool if we could go live and judge it.
So what I'm going to do, if you guys are showing in that horse show or either one of those horse shows, I haven't talked to Nicole about the virtual horse show, but I know for the Show Your Heart Out, I will be going over my top placings and discussing what I like about them and why I placed them in the order I did.
Right,
Yep, so we'll go over that for sure.
Look at that, that's so cute. Thank you again for your time and expertise. This has been so much fun and helpful. Thank you, Mom, for also help with the video.
Yes.
You have such a cute giggle.
Yep. Yeah, so Jasmine, I have not done the virtual, the all-breed show yet, the patterns. I'm going to do those tonight. So
thank you, Melissa.
I think I submit those tomorrow. Yep.
Melissa's going to join in May.
Awesome.
Yay!
Very good.
So awesome.
Cool. Very good. Let's get started.
Let's get started.
We'll get this horse moving.
So Jeremy, stay right here or come in?
Just stand right there for now, and I'll try to stay in frame a little bit.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Let me turn this around real quick. Ooh, I'm going to be cold out here.
Yeah, you can move in a little bit. So we got a horse out here pretty fresh, right? He's a little busy. I've not done showmanship with him in quite a while. Go ahead.
Becky said she couldn't find the Show Your Heart Out show.
Oh, I'll post a link to it after this, or if Kiersey's watching, if you want to tag that group, we can kind of go from there.
Yep.
But, yeah, so we're going to start with him. So, kind of green, right? Kind of green, but going to be really good at showmanship when he's done because he's very smart, right? This is a Southern thing, baby. He's been super smart about most things the whole way through. Not always a great thing, right? They learn things really fast, but I don't mind seeing a little duller horse for an amateur, especially for a novice. I want something that thinks a little bit slower. But going to be a really nice, like, all-arounder for somebody. Just needs maturity, needs to grow, right? Needs to just be out and about. So we'll get him started a little bit here. I'm going to just warm him up. Same way I warm up my riding horse, right? Just move him around, get him kind of thinking about me, get him thinking about stopping back and turning. Again, even when I have this kind of horse, right, that's been doing this for a little while, I'm not going to worry about this looking like showmanship yet. What this needs to look like is, are you paying attention to me and my body? All right? So my entire warm-up is going to be focused on that. I'll try to talk through it. Go ahead.
Jennifer said it was in the last post. She posted the link for entries.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yep.
And then 80 degrees in Montana today.
Wow.
Lucky you.
It's cold rain today. Raining all day.
You guys are so techie.
Right.
We try to be.
All right, so we'll be here. Again, chain over the nose. And what I want to do is I just want to warm him up. I don't trot when I practice showmanship. I don't trot ever, right? Because I don't want this horse. He doesn't trot off because I'm trotting, okay? He doesn't know the difference between me doing this and me doing this. Or me doing this. Right? He has no idea the difference between his gears. All he knows is he's got to keep up with me, right? So all I want is I want this horse to move around with me, wherever I'm going. Right? So if I come across here, if I cut him off, so he's going to get a little knocked.
Woo!
There it is. So he doesn't like me cutting him off, right? Because that's me owning my space. So you see where this horse was not a big fan of that. I'm going to do it again. Right here. So he's not going to like that much, but I want to just take my space away. So he's got to maintain his bubble. Right? So I'm going to walk back into him. He's got to maintain the bubble away from me. Right here. Good. Good. We'll walk back off. And all I care about right now is that he's moving up with me. We're just going to get him focused on things. We're going to stop. Now he's not paying attention. So I didn't have to correct him for that. He corrected himself. Right? And so he's going to shake his head and get all mad at him. Right? So this is good for him. Learning how to deal with himself. Learning how to, there's my Lincoln shoe, there's my soft. That's what I want. You hear him take a big old puff right there, right? So that's the softening that we're trying to get. The secret to this horse is going to be that right there. Because if I were to get after him, he's going to get tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. Until he's so mad he can't even focus about the class anymore. Right? So an important lesson in horses like this, you got to come here, you got to soften him up. Right? So right away, I pet him, and this little vein starts to soften. Right? This vein right here is the thinking vein. It's a lot like when you see that vein bulge in someone's forehead when they're like, just can't stand themselves, right? So I want this horse to soften up through showmanship. I want him to relax through showmanship. I don't want him to be so on edge. Right? So we got a little bit of work to do to get this horse to understand, it's okay. Like, we're going to push you around. We're going to be okay here. Right? So I'm just going to ignore most of this stuff, all the drama. All the drama stuff, we're going to ignore. We're just going to move him around and back him off. Because he's going to try different things. Good boy. Try different things to be in trouble, right? So let me know that he's not happy about this. So you guys have horses that bite you at home, that try to strike out at you and do different things. This horse, good chance, he's going to do all of those things, right? Ignore the bad behavior. I can't stress that enough. Ignore the bad behavior. Ignore what he's doing wrong. Focus on what he's doing right. Otherwise, you come out here and you end up beating your horse up for 20 minutes, then we wonder why he doesn't like the class, right? So this right here is the secret. Focus on what he's doing right, okay? Because if I take this young-minded horse, this immature-minded horse, and I come out here and I beat him up for what he's not doing, he's going to stop trying everything, right? And like, you see how responsive he is about this stuff. He's going to be very good at this class as long as I keep his mind good. Go ahead.
She just said, hi guys, I'm new here. Welcome. How do you get your horse to maintain your bubble? What tips would you recommend?
So you're going to see that with this horse, right? Because he's going to challenge my bubble. The biggest thing that I need to have is a horse that moves with me. I want him moving off my body. I don't want him moving off my chain. Hopefully we see that today. I don't have a lot of chain control on this horse yet. Right? I'm not trying to use my chain to steer this horse around and do things. So all I want is the ability to put pressure on my chain, drop his head down, pressure on my chain, pick his head up. Pressure on the chain, drop his head down, pressure on the chain, pick his head up. Right? And we saw that with Peanut. He's not quite as soft as she is, right? But we have this, we have this. This is what my chain needs to do. That's all I want on my chain. Okay? The rest of this is all coming out of my body and my footwork and my space. So whenever this horse gets into my space, he's going to get in trouble. Right? Whenever he gets in my bubble, he's going to get in trouble. The rest of the time, I'm going to leave him alone. And that's hard to do sometimes. It's hard to be here. And like, see the slack right there? That's the slack I want him to maintain, right? He's in the middle, right there. I'm going to say, stay in the middle. You won't get in trouble. Now, he looks over that way, he's going to get in trouble. See how I leave him alone when he's in the center? Right? He's going to get in trouble for taking his head over there. But if he stays in the middle, he gets left alone. Right? I'm not trying to hold him in the middle. He's going to find leave alone in the middle. That's what you want to do with your showmanship horse, right? Again, we're not trying to chase a showmanship position, right? If I'm chasing a showmanship position, if I'm forcing him to hold a showmanship position, he's not going to want to do it, all right? So all I want to do is make sure that he can come over here. Let's stay here. If you stay here, you're not going to get in trouble, right? And he will figure out, given enough time in his class, if I stay right there, I'm not going to get in trouble, right? So as long as you leave your head there, I'm going to leave you alone. But if you look at me, if you come over in my space, you take your head out of this bubble right here, you're going to get in trouble, okay? So I'm very particular about keeping his head, neck in the middle, okay? See, he's mad about it, right? He's thinking about biting that chain. He's going to do all that stuff to show that he's not happy about that, right? And this is, like, to me, you know, we're going to work through this stuff. We're going to try to make him enjoy this class as much as possible by not getting into him and not forcing him to do things. But this is a great example of a young-minded horse that does not have the patience to do this class yet, right? So you could spend hours out here getting him told, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. And he's not going to like the class at all, right? So I want to stress that with you guys. So many people come to me and they're like, oh, I want to teach my 2-year-old showmanship because the riding on is too hard on him. Right? Well, if you watch how we do showmanship, it's a lot of turning, it's a lot of stopping, it's a lot of backing. It's just as hard as riding. Okay? If I'm not getting him hardened up so he has to use his back to do showmanship, he's not going to be tight and edgy and crisp through his showmanship. And we'll see that when I start moving him around. He goes to trot and stop and do different things. He's got to lift his back. All right? So when I go to back up or do stuff, he's got to lift his back. Okay? So we'll move him around. So I want him to follow me, come up with me all the time. Always be next to me. Right here, I want to be able to push him up. Push
Woo!
Too much. Push him up again. Stay. See how you stay? Keep the pressure. Keep the pressure. He doesn't get released until he gets up there. Right? When you get up there, you get released. So right here, we're coming along. Pushing forward. There. Pushing forward. There. Pushing forward. There. Pushing forward. Good. So what I'm doing is I'm sending him past me right up there. Okay? He's not sure about being up there, so I'm going to help him. Good boy. Good. Move. Good. Good. Pet him. Good boy. I'm going to walk backwards right here. Move with me. Okay, I want this horse to move with me. I'm going to cut him off. And all I'm doing here is checking, are you with my shoulders? You got disconnected right there. Are you with my shoulders? Good boy. Good boy. So now, I always make a note here. Does he drop his head in and lick and chew and submit to me? All right? If I go above his forehead, he picks his head up and jerks away from me. I know that he's not submitting to what I'm asking him to do. So he's not ready to give it up yet. All right? So I got to keep going. So like I got his head down, but he didn't lick and chew. So I know I got to do more work before I release him from that pressure. All right? So I'm going to come back in. We're going to move him up. So this is follow my shoulders. Be right here with my shoulders. Right here. Are you with my shoulders? He said, no, I'm not with your shoulders. So I'm going to come here, keep the pressure on. Keep the pressure on. Good boy. Good boy. There. Good boy. Be right. So now look at him look away. Right? So he tried to bite the chain and look away. So I gotta keep going, right? He's not paying attention. He's chumping me right there. All right, so I gotta get him moving and caring about me through everything. So I'm gonna cut him off right here. Come around. Cut him off. Come around. Move him up. There's a hole. Move him back. Move him up. Lost his hip. Come around. Get this hip. You guys saw me do that. He knows that maneuver. Come back up here. Move with me. Come back here. Move with me. Come up here. Move with me. Come back here. Move with me. Come up here. Move with me. That found a hole. All right, see, I'm testing him. You stay right here. I just keep my hands right here at my sides. I maintain a showmanship position. You maintain showmanship position right next to me. See, he got tripped up right there because he's overreacting, right? He's running because he wants to get there. Good boy.
That's much better.
See the difference? There's my big puff, right? So I had to keep the pressure up to get in this horse's head a little bit and make him care. All right? So you see how I had to keep going to where he learned he had to follow me.
There is a duck.
So he had to learn how to follow me, right? And move with me. And look at the difference in my horse now, right? So if he's going to be upset, I got to push him harder. Right? I got to do more things. Again, that wasn't focused on showmanship at all. That was, are you listening to me, right? Does my body control your body? That's where we're going forward, all right? So now that I have that, I can come here, lost him. Then I got into my line, back up, with me. Body, forward. Lose his hip. Bring that hip back in line. There's my hip. What am I doing to get in this horse's head? I'm making his feet move, right? We're taking it back to basics. The herd leader moves their feet, right? So I want to look at a foot and have him move a foot. So whenever I am asking a foot to move, I want my feet to move his feet. If it doesn't work that way, if it's your hand moving his feet, you're in trouble in showmanship, right? Because notice how I didn't take my hand at all to do this stuff, right? He's just staying up here with me because he knows he should, right? This is how we're going to make him light off the chain, right? So I want this horse to maintain pressure away from me all the time, right? Maintain this gap right here, okay? So once you have that kind of communication with your horse, see how I always have slack? Because he knows that he's got to move when my feet move, all right? And that's a huge part of showmanship. To see him seek me out right there, he's like, did I do good, right? Is that rewardable? Can you pet me for that? That's the kind of horse I want to create. So if somebody does right, if he's not getting it right, I'm gonna keep working, right? Until he gets it right, and then I'm gonna reward him. I ignore the drama, all right? The drama is him trying to change my lesson. Him trying to take charge and say, well, I'm gonna decide where we go next, right? I'm gonna flip my head up, and I'm gonna toss my head, and I'm gonna fling my legs around, and I get to decide what we're doing next. That doesn't work for me, all right? I always am the one in charge of what he does next. So I ignore the drama, ignore the extra. And I just make a note of it and say, okay, that means I got to do more of that. More of that so that horse understands what that's about, right? Because you're overreacting to that stuff, all right? So you can see where this horse is starting to get very light in his showmanship, and he's going to be able to put together a pretty good pattern. Found it. He wasn't paying attention. He's going to be able to put together a pretty pattern, right? And he's going to stay connected to me. We're going to be dance partners all the time. There he lost him. Lost his hip, so I'll push that back around. So this is a horse that spun his hip out as I was walking backwards, right? So if I come to you guys, I want to make sure this horse is staying in line with me all the time. So here, when I move backwards, when I move forward.
That was good.
When I move forward.
That's really good.
Lost him. Do you see how he moves with me? Lost his hip. So move with me, forward, he stopped, there we go, backwards, forward, good boy. So hopefully you guys can see that, right? There's my big puff, he says, whoo, that's hard, right? So that horse, there's my lick and chew. So that horse is learning to stay in line with me because he kicks his hip out. He tells me that you don't have control of one of my legs. So I just say, hey, you kick your hip out that way, I'm going to push your hip around because I need control over that leg. That leg's not taking a big enough step, and you're getting crooked. If both those legs take an even step, we back straight. All right? Good.
What do you do with a horse that's heavy on the chain, Brittany asked?
Get his body, his shoulders, right? So this is the same as riding.
And sending him forward off the chains. Yep.
Get his body, because what you have to think about, where is he heavy, all right? The only two places that are actually his head and neck heavy on the chain are if you can't pick his head up here and you can't drop his head down here. That's the only two places I care about whether they're heavy or not. The rest of it, if you're thinking about this way or this way, you're not thinking about the chain and his head, which is all that controls. You need to be thinking about his body, all right? So if you said, well, my horse is heavy on the chain, well, where are you trying to go? If you're trying to go this way, he's heavy in his shoulders, not the chain, right? So his shoulders aren't watching you. So you got to get this horse to where he follows your shoulders, which is exactly what I'm doing here, all right? Because if he follows my shoulders backwards, then I ask him to come forward right there. We're going to create a horse that's pretty light off the chain, consequently his body and my shoulders, right? So I can send him up right here, okay? Now the key to sending one forward, if you say, you know what? My shoulders are heavy in my chain, I can't go forward. so I can't trot that horse off and have him go forward. What you've got to do is make sure that when you send him out, you actually get his shoulders to go up, right? So many of us have these horses scared to go past here, all right? So you have that horse scared to go past your shoulder because whenever they get ahead of us, we're here slamming them backwards, right? When he gets out there, we're going, no, stay back here. And we do lots of stopping, and we do lots of backing, and we get mad, right? So we slam these shoulders back all the time. So for this horse, I focus on pushing his shoulders back because he used to run ahead of me and dance and jump around, right? So there's going to be a time where I have to start working on this horse to where I start pushing his shoulders out with me, right? So I come here, and I'll go profile so you guys can see it. Right, so I go here, right here like this, now I go forward, and I want to be able to send him way out, right? And you see how he took those steps back? I didn't ask for those steps, but he's telling me, I understand that I got to be about right here with Jeremy. If I go out there, I'm going to get in trouble. So what I want the ability to do is go right here, be walking, and send him forward. There. And see, I can push him way out. So remember, I'm not extending my stride, right? I'm not speeding my legs up at all. I'm coming here, here's my hand, elbows at my shoulders, right here, or elbows at my sides. There, I send it forward, right there. And see how he's way ahead of me now? Look how I'm even with his cinch. Right? I'm way back here. So I know if I have the ability to send my horse way up there, then when I go to trot off, he should be right there with me. Because sending him forward a little bit is much easier than sending him forward a lot. Right? I know if he can go forward a lot, he should be able to go forward a little bit, right? So I am not getting him heavy in my hand. His shoulders are not heavy in my hand because look how I got his shoulders ahead of him. And that's what you're missing. You're not getting his body to go forward, right? Here, I actually have his body ahead of him. The key to that is when you send him forward, right? If you're here, what I'm doing is I'm here like this, elbows at my sides, right? Tuck your elbows to your sides and extend your hand forward, like this. Extend your hand. Now, where people go wrong is they do this. Well, that's not extending him, right? That's extending me. So don't extend yourself, right? Because then you're just going to break into a trot. So what I need the ability to do is say, hey, could I push you way up there? Would you be able to get way up there like that? So that I can keep you way up here? So if I want to do showmanship like this with this horse ahead of me, can I do that? See that? See that horse is ahead of my chain? Right? If you look at where my hand is, this is now ahead of my hand. That's a horse that moves forward lightly off the chain, right? So then when you're here, and say you're set up, if you were set up here, he's green. I don't do much of this. I'm going to move this forward. He kind of quit. He thought about moving and biting my hand. I'm pushing back in. Good boy. Good enough for me. Good boy. So break, right? Give him a break, right here. So now, when I go to moving forward, if I want him to trot out, I come here. He's really light on the chain, so I'm going to gather him up using our footwork, right? 3 steps to move off. So I'm 1, 2, 3. He's up with me. Very light, right? So if I were to trot out of that, I come here. I'll pivot. Right here. I'm going to move him off, so I'll have him set first. Let's say he's set up. I'm going to come here.
Oh,
He got naughty.
naughty.
We don't do much of that, right? He got excited when I kissed, so we'll try it again. Now, I expect him to be a little bit sluggish to trot off this next time. Right? He tried to crash into me. He tried to get ahead of me. So we're going to try again. So I'm here. 3 steps to go off. There. Good boy. Good boy. Now, because I sent him forward a lot, do you see how he stopped ahead of me? I'm not going to get him in trouble for that because I asked him to do that. So there'll be a time where I get this horse way ahead of me, and I reward him for that. And there'll be a time where I get this horse way behind me, and I say, don't go past this line right here. Stay right here. And he's going to be behind me, right? And I can teach him the happy medium. And then I have a tool to say, hey, you're too forward today, or you're too back today. And I can push him forward when he's too back, and I can push him back when he's too forward. And then depending on the problem I run into on show day, I can address that issue. Go ahead.
So you have a horse that is dragging their front feet when you back. Is that the softness issue, or is it because they're picking their shoulders up to you, or both?
Both, right? He's not picking his shoulders up. So think it's the same thing when we back up. We talk about backing versus backing pretty, right, or backing well. So this is not using your body, all right? If you look ahead and there are racetracks in front of you, there's 11s in front of you, right? That horse is not light in his shoulders or his body, so I don't want him to drag his feet. See how this horse picks his feet up? Look, there's no tracks there, right? So when I back him up, I'll back across the frame. You can see how this horse picks his legs up, and he gets backwards, right? So I'm right here. Pick your feet up. Let's move, right? The other piece that is, you see how I move my feet? Right? My feet are moving. So I'm coming here. We're going to back up. Move your feet. Move your feet, all right? Now he got a little crooked on me, so I can come here. So let's get this in line. Move again. Move again. There you go. There.
There you go.
And you see how when I back them up, there's my lick and chew. That's what I want. Very good. Very good. There's my soften, my drop in. Now he can't put his nose on me because he'll get in trouble. There you go. Good choices. Good choices.
We have a couple questions. Philip said the chain looks too long. How about putting the chain on the other side or using it just for training?
For training. Yep. For training. Because if I get closer to him, he doesn't have any warning. All right? So it's like saying, like I'm going to train on him. I'm going to give him room to make errors. Right? He's got lots of warning and room before he gets in trouble. So when I go forward here, he's got all this room to ask and respond to my shoulders. You see how I didn't need my chain at all? So all I'm doing here when I'm testing is I'm saying, hey, how much are you listening to my shoulders? Right? If you get your chain super short, it's so tempting to be dragging your horse along all the time with the tension. Right? I'm not dragging this horse around. You see how everything that he's doing is off my body. And by having a longer chain, I can test that. So I'm training this horse. I'm saying, I want you to do showmanship off my position. So no matter where my position is, you get out of the way. He didn't. You get out of the way and you do something. So we're going to come here, we're going to back up. And we're going to go here, we're going to pivot. And you respect my body. Look how they're slacking the chain at all times. Right? So I'm going to teach him how to do showmanship and maintain. There, you hit my chain. Maintain the slack in my hand, in my chain all the time. Right? This is a dance partner right here. He got in trouble. Right? He said, oh, shoot, I was way behind right there. I wasn't paying attention. So I'm teaching this horse, how do you pay attention to me? Lost his hip. How do you pay attention to me and do showmanship? There we go. Look at that. This is my dance partner right here. That's what I want. I want this horse to dance with me at all times. You be focused on me, right? Remember, we're teaching, we're training this horse. That's what I want in the beginning. It does not need to look like finished showmanship yet, right? Because he still loses me sometimes.
Right. What exactly is the reason for putting him ahead of you?
Horses that don't trot off, right? So if your horse stays sucked back, you need the ability to push him way up. If you can push him way up, he'll trot off and not hit your chain.
Yeah, do you ever see it? People are standing at the cones and they go to trot off or walk up and it's
I'll see if I can get him to do it.
Yeah, they throw their head up and...
So a horse that does not come way forward off a chain, when you go to trot off, you're right here, looks like this.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? Right? Clink, clink, clink. Right? That chain biting him. That's because I didn't gather that horse up and he waited until he felt the chains move off. Right? What I would rather have that be is right here like this. See how smooth that was?
Yeah.
We're a pretty picture like that. Look, we're in stride. Do you see how it puts both of our legs in stride? Right? When you see us trot like that, see if I do it again. So I'm here, right? We're like this. I'm going to trot him off. He's like, I'm going to get snotty. But look, our legs are completely in sync, right? If I don't gather him up and move off with me, right? Because he should be moving already. If I'm like this, right here, I'm going to move off. We're not in sync. Look, he's got to make a big, fast move to get with me. He's got to move ahead further to catch up to me.
Right.
Because I didn't gather him up. So I want that horse that moves ahead of me. The other piece of that, why that's so important, square corners are extremely popular in showmanship these days. If you want to make a left turn, that horse has got to move ahead of you to make that pretty. So I'll make a left turn towards the camera here, and you can see what it looks like with a horse that's behind me that doesn't move extra forward. Right? So this is a horse that does not move extra forward. It's like this. And I come around that corner, it looks like this. I can drag him up to the judge like that. That's a horse that does not move extra forward. Okay, so if you've ever seen someone come around a cone for a square corner and their arm is out here, because that horse is not up with them and they're getting ahead of him, they're dragging him, he's pulling them off their position, that's what happens. That horse doesn't come extra forward. I'll show you what that same corner looks like with a horse that has this kind of button on there that can come extra forward. Right? So if I come through this corner and I'm here, and I can push him extra right here. You see how I stay in my showmanship position and he stays right there with me?
Yeah.
That's a much prettier line. Now I lost his hip again. He got mad about it.
He gets so mad.
So mad about being corrected there. Good boy.
Oh, little Enzo.
So the difference is if you can't send him extra forward on a day when he's sluggish, you can't fix it at the show. All right? So you say, well, my horse is sluggish today, he's lazy. I don't have a tool for that. I can't fix it today, so that's just going to be our pattern. That's not an answer for me. Right? For our program, I want the ability to put this horse anywhere I want it. Right? So it's the same whether I'm doing showmanship or whether I'm riding. So that way, if a problem does creep up, if I've been at the Congress for 2 weeks and I have a problem where my horse does not come forward anymore, I want the ability to do that. All right? Because I see a lot of people who have that problem, and their answer is something like this. They're right here, and they go like this.
Ooh.
Right? And what that's going to do is teach your horse to shy this over there. And they're going to trot crooked. All right? So if your answer is do this to get him to move up. Right? When I start coming to the judge, he's going to learn to go crooked. He's going to learn to move his hip over there.
Right.
So this is never an answer for move forward. All right? Because I'm going to make a bunch of bend in my horse. He's just going to learn to hide this area from me. All right? And I don't want that. I want him to stay up forward with me. But
With 3 questions.
Yep.
Okay, so what do you do for a horse who likes to curve their neck in a pivot?
So it's a lot of this stuff right here, right? That I want to make sure that he's staying straight in his neck. So I have the ability to push out with my hand or down. So he's walking that. So I'm backing him off. We're going to turn again. I haven't done any pivots yet today. So here, he wandered out. So I'm back, turn again. Better. He wandered out, back, turn again. He wandered out. So I'm watching, are you holding weight on that right hind? Are you holding the weight right back there? So he wandered out. So this is how I teach him to pivot, right? He moves off my shoulders really good now. He wandered out. So I'm going to keep putting his weight back there. Doing it again. Put your weight back there. He's trying to curl his neck. So I'm going to push his hip this way. There. Get that back in line. Push it around again. Good boy. Good boy. He held that foot. That's what I want. Try again. Right here. He stepped forward to start that. So I'm just watching him. Just going to keep going. Let him kind of find the rhythm of his pivot. He's curling his neck now, so I'm going to push him back. Push this hip around over here. Get this body straightened up. Try again. Right here. Better. Better. Pulling forward now. Forward on that foot. Back on that foot. Forward on that foot. Back on that foot. Forward on that foot. There. All right? What I'm looking for is, do you keep your body straight? So this horse has got a problem where he hooks his neck towards me a lot. Right? Mostly because he's trying to bite me. All right? Mostly because he's trying to bite me. So because he's trying to say, I don't really want to do this class. I want to be here with your space. That's not a showmanship issue. That's an everyday issue. That's an everyday, all-day issue. Right? So what this horse got to learn is you've got to respect my space. That was better. All right? You've got to respect my space. So I'm just going to correct that neck. If it goes too far this way, I'm going to bring it back in line. I'm going to ask his shoulders to move. If I go into him right here, and he doesn't move a foot, like he moved the wrong foot right there.
Yeah, that's why he gets tripped up.
Yep, he moved the wrong foot. So right here, let's square him up. But look how light he is, right? That's what you want. Like there, you quit paying attention. So now we're going to come back up. We're going to say, give me those legs, right? Give that leg to me when I ask for it. So here, square up, now turn. Better. Cross those legs over. Cross. Good. Cross. Squint forward. And catch it. Right here. Cross those legs up. Cross. Step back with your right, around with your left. Back with your right, around with your left. Back with your right. There we go. Forward with his right. Better.
That's much better.
Try to slow things down, right? Say, hey, let's think our way through this problem. Let's take our time. Go ahead.
So I had to become the passive partner with my horses. How do I fix that?
So you got to get bigger, right? The biggest way to do that is move your feet, all right? Move your feet. So you see how I'm not doing showmanship slow. There's nothing lazy about how I'm practicing showmanship out here. I'm sweating, right? My horse is going to be sweating here in just a little bit. If you can't finish showmanship and both of you are sweaty, you are practicing lazy. You're going to create lazy, all right? Go ahead.
When do you move the chain from the top of the nose to under the chin?
Once he's relatively solid with my body, all right? Because if I look at this horse now, he wants to come up with his face, right? We teach these horses how to come away from pressure. So if the pressure comes on top of his nose, he's going to learn how to drop his head into that position, right? Versus if I started this below his nose and I shank on him, look how this goes up, right? This is the opposite of where you want his head to be, okay? So keep that in mind. He's going away from pressure, okay? So that's why when we practice halter setups and stuff, and that horse gets lazy or sloppy, you can just shank him like that. Look at him carry himself up there, right? So if you were doing halter, you could say, hey, like pay attention right here. When he starts to get sleepy and lazy and drop too low, right? Say he gets really down here and he loses that show, right? You come here, you go, and stand him back up and say, carry yourself up there, right? So if you've ever done show or halter and you're hanging on your horse like this and he's leaning on you, he's resting into you.
That's
right?
me.
And people learn to hate halter, right? You can get away from him and say, carry yourself right here. Carry yourself.
Right.
Right?
You come in.
Yeah. Good.
And then the next question is, what do you do with a horse that pivots on the wrong foot?
Pivots on the wrong foot. So he was doing the same thing, right? What you have to learn is there's a couple of different positions he's got to do. He's got to hold his weight back there, right? So he's got to hold his weight on that right hind. He's got to learn to cross his front legs over. And he's got to learn how to bring his left hind forward, right? So a couple of different things I want him to learn. Keep your weight back on this leg, right? Take your front feet, step back and cross over. And then bring your other hind forward. Bring this hind forward. So when I practice that pivot, I'm going to say, hey, let's come here, let's pivot, cross, 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 forward, cross, cross, forward. So I want this up, say, there's forward, cross, 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 forward, perfect. This horse is learning how to pivot. That's what I'm going for. All right, very good. Good question. It's all about managing weight.
Here's a longer question if you want to get it. My hands are chilly.
What about haunch turn? He turns his head away from you, has a lazy shoulder. Same correction if he turned towards you. Yep. So if he turns his head away from you and has a lazy shoulder, what you probably are doing is punching his head across your turn. Right? And I see that a lot where I hit the some button. Oh. Your phone does something. So usually what happens when you do that, like I'll come across here. I want my horse to stay really straight head to tail. So I want him to be really solid head to tail. And this horse gets a little bit crooked. What was that?
My phone.
Oh, jeez.
1 second, guys. I just dropped my phone in the dirt.
So right here, most of the time what you have, like this horse likes to look off to the right a lot. So if I take my horse and he looks across, it's mostly because I do this to him. You see I push him with my hand? So that right there is going to, see I have a bunch of bend right here now? So I don't want to have a bunch of bend right there, so I want to bring this horse back to the middle. Right? And now I'm going to pull out or down, right, maybe 45 degrees down as I pivot. Okay, so right here, out and down to keep his shoulder in line with the rest of his body. Okay? So if I give him room and I'm pushing across this way, look how much bend I put it in. Super flexible, right? Wrong. Not what I'm looking for. So if he goes that way, I might bring the head neck back in line right here. And I pull out through the turn. All right, see, I keep my feet close. I keep my feet on my circle. But I can pull my hand out. Right? So it's literally doing the pivot like this as I walk that same circle. Right? So it's either pulling out as I walk the circle this way, but see, I'm not making a bigger circle. Okay? So if my pivot without a horse is this big, here's my circle that I end up walking. He's going to get naughty. He's like, what are we doing?
He's like, I'm so confused.
So here's my normal pivot that I have to walk when I do a pivot, right? I can walk that same pivot, just have my hand in different places above it. Right? So if I come out here, I pull this way, he can take his neck and stretch it, which will straighten things out. Or I can pull it back and rock his weight back a little bit more. Right? So your hand can operate differently. But what people do wrong, where you'll go wrong with that, is you'll pull out here and you'll make a big circle. And that's going to take him and untrack his back end. All right? That's going to take his back end and pull him out of your pivot. So don't move your feet. Don't change your feet circle, but you can adjust your hand and your position from there. Because I can pivot with his head up. Right? I can pivot with his head up here. He doesn't know anything about it. He's like, why are we doing this? Or I can pivot with his head down here. And all the difference is I change my hand. Okay? It's just changing my hand position. That's a horse that's going to be really soft right there, and he stuck that most of the way. So that's really good.
That's good.
So just changing my hand position. Okay? This is different than the circle that I walk with my feet. Okay? The size of the circle I walk with my feet determines how much he has to rock over his back end and pivot short and small. Good.
What do you do with a horse that wants to stop too early in front of the judge and not go far enough?
Trot towards somebody. Right, you want to show them?
Yeah, you want to come hold this real quick?
Something that we see a lot, again, having the ability to push your horse up extra is really important, right? Being able to send your horse extra is super important. Nope, just walk backwards. Run backwards. So it would look like this.
Oh, jeez.
It would look like this. We're going to back this horse off.
Let me stand here and then come to me, so run backwards?
I'm going to come to you. We'll just walk first.
Okay.
So it'll look like this. We're here.
I'm cold.
All right, come a little closer. That way we don't run the fence. That's good. All right, so we're here. Yep. Just we're going to walk.
Okay.
Then we'll run, but we're going to walk first. So have a buddy system right here. You have your buddy, right? Mason's my buddy. Right, so that's my buddy. We're going to use a buddy system. We're going to come here. We're going to move this horse up. I'm going to keep driving, and she's going to move backwards. Right? So we teach this horse how to be here, and then she's going to pit his head. See, so he learns to like her. Right? He learns to say, oh, I kind of like her. Or you can give him a treat. Right? So that horse learns to go all the way to that person. Right? Now go ahead and go that way. We'll do a trot, so you can see what that looks like. And he's never done this.
Oh boy, how do I get like...
So usually what happens is that horse starts feeling a little bit claustrophobic, right? He starts getting a little nervous that he doesn't have room to go anywhere. So that's what we want to avoid. So we're going to give him room and learn that you can be comfortable doing this. Now this way across the arena, we're going this way just for camera purposes. We would normally go all the way across the arena.
All the way down.
Give yourself lots of room, right? Give yourself tons of room. So right here, we're like this. I'm going to try him off. Good boy. Good boy. So see how you stay driving the whole way? That's what I want to see, right? He licks and chews. He learns that he can trust her and like her, right? And he learns to enjoy it. I don't necessarily do the side step anymore. I used to do it that way when I was starting out. But I think horses get more nervous about that person, like doing the bull step and letting that horse go past them.
Yeah, I don't really think it fixes what they're going for, you know?
Nope. And I find I spend more time teaching them to be comfortable with that person sidestepping than I do actually fixing the trying to adjust problem.
Because it's kind of like unexpected. I was like,
yeah, they get nervous. And then I had some horses get kind of, like this one would probably get pretty squirrely and try to kick you on the way by. I don't want that.
I lost my chair.
Oh, no.
Let me go see.
All right. Perfect.
There's another question.
Yep.
So to avoid bumping into their face to get them to move in the pivot, we need to work on shoulder control and respecting our bubble.
It's right here. It's everything right here. Loosen your chain up, right? So that way it takes it out of the equation. This is the best advice I can give you guys. Train your horse from back here, right? Because I don't want to teach showmanship from here. This is me carrying him, right? This is me carrying this horse around. If I do all my showmanship right here, he has no time to make the right choice before he's getting reprimanded by my chain, right? And do you guys notice how I did those trot lines with my chain under, right? First time in this horse's life, he's had the chain under. Did you guys notice the difference? Right? Because he's broke off my body. Okay, so it's the same thing as what bit do I ride my horse in? Work on getting your horse broke off your legs, your body. It doesn't matter where your chain is, right? So it's the first time he's ever had that, and he's just as responsive as he was before because I have control of his body, okay? I want his body to move off my body so that we dance together, okay? Don't get bit.
And you just love him.
Yeah.
Okay, watching from work because it is awesome.
Awesome.
The older horse will rush the pattern and just get the next moves up before he's asked to the helmet. How do you fix that?
Don't ever practice the pattern with him. He doesn't need to know the pattern, right? He needs to follow my body. He needs to follow my lead, right? And that's what all of this style of showmanship is about. My style of showmanship is all about you following my body, all right? So it's not up to him to know the pattern. So what I do is I make sure that my exhibitors know the pattern really well. If I have an older horse that anticipates the pattern, we practice the opposite of the pattern. Right? We practice the opposite of the pattern until he doesn't know what he's doing anymore. Right? I don't ever start stringing patterns together. If you're going to work on your spacing in the arena, you do that the night before, right? Where you don't have a horse, we just take cones out there, me and you, and we go out there and we practice the pattern.
Like when I showed Marley in the horsemanship class, the first time I ever did it,
Depending world.
We never once practiced the pattern. It was only me at the ground doing it. And you can, if Sam Heimstra's down here, she can even say it too. But we just practiced like Marley, there was a turn and back and lope off. So we just did turn back, lope off. So it never was like the first time I actually ran the pattern with my horse was me showing.
Yep.
But I knew the pattern so much, and Marley didn't anticipate anything. So she's always right there with me. And same thing with Chrome when we showed Chrome. And with Albert,
with the girl that won the Congress, we didn't ever practice the pattern with that horse. What we did was we went out in the show pen, right? We went out in the Celeste the night before, and we guessed at how big the pattern would be set. And we said, all right, this is about where the pattern's going to be. This is about how big I think it's going to be. And we set up landmarks, and we said, okay, let's run this. Let's practice this right here. What I found odd about that is that she and I were the only ones out there practicing where the pattern would actually be. Everyone else was all over the arena in their own little space, and I was like, is there something I don't know here? Like, why isn't everyone in line right here in this area? Like, we know where the pattern's going to be, and you know how wide the arena is, so you can set the pattern up, right? And the horse doesn't need to know it, so she knew exactly, almost to the step, how many steps it would be before she had to turn and do her different things. So she got a rhythm for the pattern. And then her horse, we just brought him out and made sure he's with us. Right? And, I mean, we hardly warmed up at all.
He reminds me a lot of Albert, like super...
Very edgy.
Albert was really pretty in horsemanship.
Yep.
My horse probably wants to sniff and nibble me, doesn't fight.
This one, just like this, right? A lot like this. It's more of an all the time thing, right? This horse has to be constantly reminded that you have to stay over there, right? Now the big thing about that is when I put him over there, I leave him alone, right? I want to make sure that he finds relief and he finds solace right here, right? That he can just be left alone right here. And if he's here, I'm really happy with him. And if he deviates from that position, I'm going to make sure he stays over there. Right? So you stay over there. No. And you can't give into it, right?
That's why he do showmanship.
That's why she likes it in her pocket. Yeah? So, and it's hard because that's going to be, if you want to do showmanship at a big level, you want to avoid those problems, that right there is an all the time thing.
Yeah.
Right? That all the time, he can look. He's more than welcome to look. But he can't do like this, or he can't be mauling me, rubbing all over me.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, he can't be doing that stuff. And the less you let him do that, the less you'll have to fix.
This is why Marley's a monster.
We don't do showmanship for Marley. And some horses just don't have the mindset for high-level showmanship. No different than some horses do not have the mindset for high-level Western pleasure.
But even people don't have the mindset.
No.
I don't.
If you're out there and you're thinking fast, if your mind goes 100 miles an hour, pleasure's going to be a hard event for you. Right? Pleasure's going to be a hard event for you. Like this horse is very busy. Showmanship is not going to be his best class.
He's gorgeous at it, though.
He'd be very pretty at it, as long as you keep him moving. Right? This is not a horse that I would come out here and stand at the arena for 15 minutes before my class.
No.
I'm going to come out here, trot a lap, stop, back, turn, and go show. Right? So we might be running to the pen, stop, back, turn, and then go show.
Right.
He's going to spend very little time at the pen because he doesn't have the patience to do that yet.
Like Peanut, you could stand there all day with her and she'd be like, okay, let's go show.
Yep. This horse would, honestly, he would be an ornery mess if you brought him up and waited at the pen.
Yeah.
He would be so mad by the time he got to class. He would mess up in the class because he was mad about having to stand back there. And that's just knowing your horse. Right? That's just preparing your horse the best way you can.
That was the same thing with Marley, is that we couldn't let her stand there to him. She'd just like pick her leg up and she'd be like,
She'd start getting mad, yeah.
So we always had to make sure like we'd be running to the class, but that was what worked for her.
Timing is very important in horse shows, and knowing your horse.
My horse will carry her head, but the shoulders, tends to raise her head during turning.
Yep. So if he raises his head during turning, teach him to drop it way down. Right? So like I don't have a chain on him at all, but this is how soft my horse is. Right? That's his halter. That's how sort of soft my horse is. All right? So if I want him to pivot, teach him to drop it way down. That's no chain at all. One finger on the halter. That's how low I can keep his head. Can you do that with yours? Right? Because if you can drop him down here, odds are good that when you leave him alone, he'll pivot right here.
They always need you in the middle.
They need you in the middle. Yep. So I can come here, and he's carrying himself around that pivot. That's no chain. That's just moving my body. All right? On a horse, it's pretty green.
Where exactly are they supposed to stand next to you when showing?
So I want my hand to be like even with my halter. So I want this to be straight from the halter to my hand. All right, straight line. From here to the buckle on the halter. If I see him deviate like this and he drops behind me or my hand gets ahead of him, I know I'm dragging him.
Right.
And if I see him get back like this, I know he's leading me.
He's leading you.
Yep. Wait up.
I'm trying.
Horse very busy standing as well. Yeah, so it's just something you're going to have to work on, Mark. Like,
yep.
Just like this horse, this is good for him to come out here and have some patience and learn. I can't overdo it. Right?
The first time we brought him, it was like 2 years ago. We brought him just out in the arena to stand because we were like, I was thinking we were going to ride him or something, but I was just holding him. And he was standing there for about like 20 minutes, and he was just standing there perfectly fine. And all of a sudden, he like just kicked out because he was so mad. I'm like, Enzo!
Yep.
He got so mad.
Probably, maybe the most interesting thing to me about this is like you guys watched that lesson, right? That was 15 hard, sweaty minutes, all right? 15 intense minutes. Look how much softer he is now than he was when we started, right? When we started, he was like veiny and he was trying to paw and he was mean, right? And now he's like soft and he's kind of enjoying this, right? That was kind of fun for him, right? We got to come out here and work. We got to come out here and it was interesting and it was exciting and we got to do things and we got rewarded for doing the right thing.
But I think horses like that are super busy. They really enjoy like showmanship and trail and horsemanship, and because it keeps them super busy. And they do enjoy it. They enjoy the job.
You look how much softer that is, right? His eye's softer. The way he looks at things is softer. He's like real quiet and careful about it now, right? We're not getting the pawing stuff. No. It's just being young. Just being young, being green, right? That's a green horse right there. It's a green horse in showmanship. I'm not, no matter how much time I spend in this class, that's up to him to figure out, right? So I'm going to come out here and do my 15 minutes every other day, and he's going to figure it out eventually, right? There's going to be 15 minutes of exciting stuff, and we're going to pet him, and we're going to reward him when he gets it right. We're going to cheer him on. We're going to just keep hoping he gets better at it, but ultimately it's going to be on him.
My horse had also started rolling when we were practicing. How do I correct that? We just talked about that today, remember? I asked Jeremy, because I was free lunging Peanut in a round pen back there, and I was like, well, should I let her roll? And he was like, no,
don't let her roll. Don't let her roll, right? So if they start to lay down to roll, I'm going to move their feet.
Yeah.
Pretty aggressive.
Pretty aggressively, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be spinning circles for a little bit, right? Like I would come back here, and he'd be like, see how this horse gets up? Like I'm going to come here, I'm going to swing my line. Let's move. And I'm looking for him to cross his legs over when I do that. He's got to cross his hinds up. So when I come here like this, cross there, inside, there, cross in, cross in, cross in, cross in. So see how that left hind is crossing inside of the other one? That's what I want to see. So when I get that move, then I would get out. But I'm going to make that move. All right, make their feet move.
And then another question. How do you shake up a super chilled horse that calls you an interest?
Just right there, just what you saw, right? So it's the hard, fast stuff. So like how I was taking him and moving him forward and backing him off, moving him forward, backing him off, so he doesn't know where he's going to go, right? I want to have a horse that's like, oh, where are we going? Right? And it's a lot of our horses that get dull to it. We got to make sure we're bringing the extra.
Yeah, like we could tone it down a little bit with him because he is so like, we'll go next, we'll go next. But just to kind of show you guys what our practices are. So.
Yeah, what that would be on a more advanced horse. And see how like, I had this horse really paying attention.
Yeah.
Like, he was on edge. And you see how I slowed things down and quieted things up? All right, so if I get a horse that's too on edge, right, then I can slow things down a lot. But I would say the majority of horses that I see in showmanship are one extreme or the other.
Right.
They're really scared of you because we're like gung-ho about showmanship. You need to tone that one down. Or we do showmanship like this.
Yeah,
because we don't really want to run and get sweaty. So then our horse gets lazy.
Okay, another question?
Yep. Move the feet. It absolutely refocuses them. Yep. Bingo. Good. So I occasionally have a problem when I stop my horse, I turn his haunches to the side, take off again, wait till he doesn't move, then stop and pet him. Why makes him want to move his hips to the side when I stop? So usually, you didn't specify which side, but if it's most of the time, I would say its haunch is going that way, all right? Because you're pulling him around. So he's used to being stopped off your chain. So if I stop him off my chain, I'm always stopping him like this. I'll face the camera so you can see it. So usually when I see that problem, we're stopping him and they're not following our body, so we end up doing this. Right? He won't do it because he moves his whole body. But I'm getting bend in my neck like this, which is always going to push my hip out, right? Like that. So if you stop him and you're not stopping this shoulder over here, this shoulder continues to go forward. If the only shoulder you're stopping is this one, then everything's going to spin out. So I fix that by making sure that my horse knows you don't ever untrack those shoulders. You move those shoulders together. And see how straight that line is? That's what I want. And he's my sidecar, so he doesn't ever leave that straightness. Okay.
How long do you practice showmanship so your horse doesn't get bored or dull per session?
10, 15 minutes.
I say yeah, because we've been running for an hour now. That's a little
he's getting bored.
That's a little too long for all.
Like I was tempted just a second ago to say I'm gonna take him back real quick because he was really good.
Yep.
Yeah, 10, 15 minutes. Good showmanship takes your breath away.
Yep.
That's the rule of thumb. Good showmanship to take your breath away. All right? If you are not breathless by the time you are done with the class, you did not go hard enough. Right?
Okay.
So if you want to keep this class interesting for yourself, if you want to keep this class interesting for your horse, you got to pick up the pace. I see a lot of sleepy showmanship. All right? I don't want to see sleepy showmanship.
Wake up.
Yep, gotta wake up.
But we'll be live tomorrow. Question. Should I teach showmanship on both sides, left and right?
I don't necessarily teach it on both sides, but I do cross over there, like you saw me cross over there a lot today, to push that hip back in line. So on this horse, when he doesn't stay with me and stay square, I have no problem going over there to address that issue, all right? So anytime I have a problem like that where my hip is spinning out too far, and that wasn't spinning out like in my stops, that was spinning out just in general, then I have no problem going over there and drawing that line.
Any other questions? Don't mind me.
Which way, Nicole? Does he straighten out? Does he curl his neck this way or this way?
You always would stop me and then just move his hip.
Which way though?
Which way?
If he moves his hip that way, your problem is what I say, 100%. Yeah. I would be shocked if he moved his hip this way. And if he did, it'd be an easy fix. Because I would stop him and I'd just come over here and push your hip back around. Say, hey, get your butt in line, right? And then trot up and stop again. I wouldn't take the pressure away.
He said yes towards me.
That's strange. That's odd.
Do you think he's just like leaking out with this shoulder? Like he's just kind of like curled like this?
That would be unusual, right? But I would think that would be an easy fix because I would just stop him.
Wait, she said his hips out.
Yeah.
Which way? This way or this way?
Hip away from you or towards you? I would guess
does
it's
he
that
trot
way.
like this or does he trot like this?
So I'm standing here. Does he curl his hip this way or that way? Left or right?
Oh, yeah, left or right.
Yeah. This would be how.
Wait, heads towards me, hips out.
Yeah, that's exactly your problem. Is what I said. Yeah, that's the typical problem. Like I don't think I've ever seen a horse turn the other way. No. That problem is because you don't have control over this side of his body, right? So you do this, right? Do this, and I guarantee he's going to do that right there.
Yeah.
So that tells me I don't have control over that side of his body. So then I do what I do is I come over here and I say, bring this in line, so that I can move him right here, that he doesn't untrack his shoulders from me, right? So that he always stays square with me. I would venture to guess if you were just standing here like this and you walk backwards, see how this horse stays with me? Right? He curls his hip a little bit. Now bring it in line. Now try again. Stay with me. And I can cross into him right here. Right? So that shoulder and that body stays with me when I stop. So I come up here. I need to make sure everything stays straight. Ooh. He missed it. Everything stays straight right here as I move up.
That's better.
Yep. Right here. Move. Good. See how everything stopped right there in line? That's what I want. But see how I got him edgy and I got him thinking. Right? So cross over there, straighten that hip in line so you're not stopping with your hand or your body. Alright? And a lot of times people are thinking like, oh, I'm not stopping with my body. But your horse is used to it. Right? They're used to being stopped by pulling like this. And you just have a disconnect between your horse head and tail. So that backing like this, all I'm doing here is saying, do you stay straight head to tail? Or do I have a disconnect in there? And if I do, I have no problem coming in and fixing it like that. Right? So then I can come up here, bring this horse up, stop, walk backwards, bring this horse up. His shoulders and my shoulders are connected. So if my shoulders stay straight like this and square, his should stay straight and square. If your hip spins out that way, your problem is that this is leaking out. So his shoulders, he's stopped like this. So get over there and back this shoulder up. All right?
Can you practice showmanship and then ride?
I would probably, like I rode him earlier today, I would probably do riding and then showmanship most likely. All right? Because I think if you did showmanship first, I would say your horse is probably too fresh.
Yeah.
Okay?
And then it says, when you approach the judge for your setup, when you set him up, do you take a small step back or not?
Yep,
I see
I
it
do.
both ways.
Yep, so I'm set like this because I won't let that judge know that I'm done, so it doesn't look like that. Because now I'm showing, right? Now it's all about the horse, it's not about me anymore. So yeah, I would take a step back.
And then do you ever practice with cones?
No. If I ever practice any class with cones, I'm running them over. I'm not doing something at the cones. So we'll set cones up, we'll just run them right over. Right? So the little cones, just plow them right through them. So that he learns that we don't care about cones. I don't want him to know anything about things happening in cones. Yeah.
You're so welcome.
You're very welcome.
But we'll be live tomorrow on the couch.
Yes,
in the
tomorrow
morning, I think.
Probably like 10 a.m. Eastern, 10:30 Eastern.
Yeah, and we're going to go over
the patterns for the Show Your Heart Out.
Yep.
So we'll do the showmanship. So now you've seen how I practice my horse. We'll go over tomorrow how I would go through the pattern.
Right.
All right?
So we'll do that tomorrow, and then maybe be live tomorrow night.
Hopefully, if the weather's good.
Yeah, if the weather's good,
It's supposed to be super windy, so we'll see. Yep.
We'll play it by ear and see what happens.
Yep. Yep.
But he was good.
He was really good. Yeah, really good. Look how much softer he is now, right? Like this horse is in the zone now. He's ready to go. Very good. So we're going to make a horse that pays attention and learns to like this class. So it's tons of this, right? I have a horse that's, by nature, by knowing him, I know he's probably not going to be a huge fan of this class. So I have to make sure it's interesting and it's rewarding for him. All right, so he learns to like this class. Okay, very, very important.
Send feedback a couple of my videos.
Yeah.
We'll get to you, I promise.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go on the couch, we'll do some video stuff.
A bunch of videos we need to catch up on.
Go over the patterns. A lot of people have sent us updates. People have been doing awesome with their horses.
Yeah, they look amazing.
Raquel, your horse looks so much better.
Yeah.
So much better. I watched your video. I just didn't get a chance to reply to it. But yeah, I mean, you guys' horse doing amazing. We're super happy. Super proud of all of you. Yep. Yeah, that's Showmanship. Hopefully this helps you guys. If you get stuck, like if you're saying, hey, like I don't think that my horse is doing what you're saying it's doing, send us a video, right? We haven't gotten to critique any Showmanship videos.
No, not yet.
So we've done lots of riding videos helping you guys like all that stuff, but nobody sent me a Showmanship video.
All right, go flood our inboxes.
Yep, flood our inbox Showmanship videos. We'll go over together.
My Gullion bites the chain, but when he gets super tired, he doesn't get any more. How do I go to Chopin? It's early in the morning.
So this horse does the same thing, right? He's kind of trying to bite the chain a lot. It kind of takes knowing your horse. If he doesn't do it and he's super tired, I'm going to bring that horse up to the pen a little sooner.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure he's tired when he goes out to the pen. This horse, I have a feeling, would bite the chain a lot in the very beginning. He would be terrible in the middle, and he'd be really good if I did it now. Right? So I either have to decide, okay, we're going to try to show this horse fresh out of the box, where he's not going to try to bite me, but I run the risk of jumping around like I did.
Yeah.
Right? I absolutely have that risk if I show him out of the box. But if I try to do it in the middle, right, you see how I had to work through a lot of stuff to get to this point.
Right.
Now I feel like I can do this pattern and be
It
successful.
would be good to warm up for a little bit and then go show right away.
But that thought process right there that we're talking right here, that we're just kind of spitballing ideas, that's why we go to horse shows, to work on our prep. So we might try to show this horse out of the box and say, hey, you know what? What's this horse like? We just go show him. I'm going to take note of that if I practice a lot with him. And I'll come up with a good game plan for the horse show at home. So I'll say, you know what? This horse is really good. Like, just keep it, set a timer on my watch and say, hey, after 15 minutes, this horse brings his A game, right? Or after 15 minutes, this horse is done, and there's no chance of me showing him. And just by doing it a lot, and by paying attention to how your horse practices, you'll come up with a game plan for your horse, because every horse is going to be different.
Yeah, 10:30 Eastern time.
Yep.
We'll be tomorrow.
Yep. Because every horse will be different.
If
Because
I got bed.
we got to wake Macy up. Yeah. So it's about coming up with a good game plan for each horse as an individual.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Yep.
You're so welcome. Yeah, send your videos in of Showmanship.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be in the virtual horse show,
Yes.
let us know, because then we can kind of help you and stuff with the patterns and everything. Is that show your heart?
Show your heart out.
Show your
Yep.
heart out.
We'll be judging that.
Yeah, show your heart
Yep.
out.
And we'll go over our top placings for that too.
Because I'm supposed to link to the virtual horse show, I can't see all the comments.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go over it.
We'll
comment.
message it to you guys.
Yep. Yep. I'll put it in the training discussion group.
Yeah, we'll put it in we'll do
Yep.
there. Someone, I think Jennifer did earlier.
Yep. And we'll be going over the placings live for that one. So that'd be fun.
That'd be fun. So.
That'd be really good. Yeah. Perfect. Awesome. Macy's answering the phone.
There, I get it. All
right.
Alright,
Awesome.
bye guys. Have a good night.
Thanks so much. I hope this helps. Have a good evening, night, afternoon, wherever you are around the world.
Or at work.
Yep. Wherever you are around the world.
Yeah.
This is awesome. We're back.
We are back.
The mic comes tomorrow.
Yes, hopefully we can get outside tomorrow.
The mic comes tomorrow. So hopefully that works out really well.
Oh, perfect. She put it in there.
Great.
Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you. Awesome. Stay safe out there, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.